I knew it! Forgot to unmute my mic again. How'll do, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Stream Dark Souls Prepare to Die Edition. So, between episodes, I did all the farming I said I was going to do, and then some, unfortunately. As you can see, I have nearly 100,000 souls. One of the items I wanted to farm with 10 humanity, the monster that drops said item just did not want to drop it. Instead, they felt it necessary to completely fill my inventory with literal shit. Oh, but I did get the item I wanted. If we go to the weapons tab here, I did pick up a large club. I don't think I can use this yet with my present stats, but I do want to upgrade it and hang on to it. And I also picked up... Come on now. I also picked up a Balder Shield, which is something I actually do want to use at some point. Actually, can I use this now without overburdening myself? Yes, I can. So I will probably swap back to the Spider Shield just for the fire protection. Because while I was looking back on previous episodes' footage, I actually noticed I missed an area in here. So let's go back to that spot real quick before we talk to the merchant and get our shopping done. So let's go through here. So you more than likely noticed those fire bombers just throwing things at us. If I had a ranged weapon, I could snipe them. However, you can actually get up there and engage them in melee. I just neglected to do so the first time through. I think I can get this guy through the door. Yeah. Nope. He needs to get, like, close to the door. Yeah. So that way the sword will, like, hit him through it. There we go. That doubtless made a lot of noise, so we're gonna have to kill the guys in here now. Oh, that was bad. Kill this guy here, just so he doesn't cause a problem. There's nothing like particularly noteworthy up where we're going, but I do need to show it off for the sake of the Let's Play, so it's not far, it's just past these guys. And this guy is once again being really aggressive, not throwing fire bombs. My parry timing is all kinds of off. Which is weird, because yesterday in Dark Souls 3 with Hinty, I was parrying it up. There we go. That's better. And I'm sure there's some people thinking, well, you're so good at parrying in this game, how are you not good at parrying in Dark Souls 3? I mentioned this earlier, I believe, in the first episode. Oh man, these guys are already aggressive to me over here. That's surprising. But yeah, you go up on top of this little thing and then climb up this ladder, you get on top of this roof, and now you have access to these guys. But, the difference in parries between Dark Souls 1 and 3, and 2 for that matter, because 3 uses 2's parry system, is that I describe it as the system in 1 is reactive, where you have to time it to where just before the enemy hits you, and then all you really get up here besides killing them is a corpse with some fire bombs on it. Whereas the parry system in 2 and 3 is proactive. You have to know the tells enough to hit the parry in advance, because with this reactive system, I press the button and he swings. There's no wind-up for it. In 2 and 3, there is a wind-up. So the timing is very, very different. To the point where in 3 in particular, because of the faster pace of the game, you basically need to be precognizant to effectively parry, because enemies have such a wider variety of moves that use very similar wind-up tells. Like, just yesterday when I was playing with Hinty, we were fighting the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. You can't parry her, but she's good for illustrating my point about how similar some of the tells are. One of her weaker moves is where she just slaps you. That's it. She just raises her hand and slaps you. However, she has another attack that uses the exact same tell, which is a grab that is basically an insta-kill. And because it uses the exact same tell, you don't know if you're going to take a pittance of damage or if she's just going to outright murder you. And a lot of enemies in Dark Souls 3 have that problem, which makes trying to parry the ones that you can parry really tricky. Because an enemy might be winding up for an attack that you think you can parry because you normally can, only for it to use that animation for a grab instead. But anyway, let's talk about actual, like, games that I unambiguously like. Okay, hey, we got Souls for you finally.
Oh, there you are. Still keeping your marbles all together? Then go ahead, don't be a nitwit. Never hurts to splurge when your days are numbered.
Okay, I want stuff from you. I want the residence key, and I want the bottomless box. That's all I need from you. Let's see. I actually do want to buy a max stack of standard arrows, so there we go. And that should be everything I need from you, because I shouldn't need everything else. Oh, I need the reinforced club. Yes, I need that too. Thank you. And then that should do me, because I can get the repair box cheaper from Andre.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, so now that he's done that, let me equip my bow. I may not be able to wield it without mid-rolling. And, well, the Balder shield might make me too heavy with the bow. No, I can still mid-roll, or fast-roll, so that works. Okay, so I want to equip arrows, standard arrows. Feather arrows are better for what I'm actually going to be using them for, but I don't think we have access to a merchant who sells those yet. So, we'll be keeping our eyes open for them. But, we'll probably be using standard arrows for a majority of the playthrough. It'll take us a long while to run out. So, now that I've got a bow, I want to make my way back to Andre. And I'm specifically going to be going the Drake Bridge route, because there's a specific item we can get here now that I have a bow. So, first things first, let's get this bridge cleared of hollows. Okay, now we want to clear out the guys down here. But yeah, you can see how stable a Balder shield is, and one of the reasons why it's so good. Shield bashes usually do a lot of damage to your shield, because they're designed as like a shield breaker, and you see that this unupgraded Balder shield took that shield bash pretty good. See? It barely did like that little smidge of a bar right on the end there. Took that hit real well. So, I'm going to go ahead and get a unique item that you can only get here if you have a bow. Once again, if you are playing... I'm actually going to equip the Grass Crest shield for this one due to how bows work. But if you are playing Remastered, do not do this. Doing this will screw up your matchmaking if you do it too soon. So, I'm not going to be using the Grass Crest shield for bows all the time, but this is a good opportunity to explain how they work. Bows, of course, are a two-handed weapon, so you need to have both hands free in order to use them. You press and hold whatever attack button you have to draw your arrow. I will swap off the weapon really quick to disengage it, to show another control if I equip these feather arrows. If you press right trigger, or whatever trigger is corresponding to whatever hand you have the bow in, you will swap your arrow type. So now I'm equipped with feather arrows. But if I press it again, I'm back to standard. Feather, standard, feather, standard. I probably won't be doing that too much in New Game, but it is something you can do. So now that I have my bow drawn, if I press left bumper, I go into ADS mode, or aim mode. You can use the D-pad to zoom in and out. So I want to zoom in, and I specifically want to shoot this Drake in the tail. Now, if I've gotten my positioning right... No, I did not. Oh, it's because I fired too soon. If you time it just right, you can hit his tail twice. And doing this with standard arrows, assuming you don't miss... There we go, that's the second hit. Assuming you don't miss, it'll take about 30 arrows or so if you meet the minimum requirements to use the bow. Now, we're not trying to kill the Drake. He's not worth that much for how much of a hassle he is to kill. So, we're just going to leave him be, but he does have an item we want. And to get that item, we need to take off his tail. And by we are going to do that by just clinking at him constantly. Please, damn it. Right as I cut away, or like back out of the game to mute my mic so I can sneeze, the sneeze just goes away. Ugh, I hate that. Okay. But anyway, I missed. I need to aim a little bit further down. Did I get... No, I didn't. Me tabbing out like that didn't, like, disrupt my positioning any. So, something you want to keep in mind when you're ADSing like this is when you're trying to snipe something, aiming at the center of the reticle will actually cause your arrow to miss, because at extreme distances, your arrow kind of goes a little to the left. So it'll probably be a little bit easier to explain it when I'm sniping a target that actually has a head I can shoot. Because, as I mentioned in the last episode, when discussing ranged units, headshots are a thing. So, you will obviously want to be aiming for enemies' heads. And when you are doing so... Okay, come on. There we go. But when you are doing so, it pays to keep in mind how your arrows will fly when you shoot them at extreme distances. There we go, the Drake Sword. This is our first dragon weapon. And this is also a crutch weapon. This is very good for, like, almost the entire first third of the game, but once you actually start getting some upgrades on your proper weapons, this thing gets outclassed very quickly. So you need 16 strength and 10 dex to wield this. Does a whopping 200 base physical damage with no stat scaling whatsoever, which is why it's a crutch weapon. It has no scaling at all. And it's very expensive to upgrade, uses very rare materials, and barely gets any damage upgrade when you do upgrade it. So it's better just to have it as a early game weapon that's pretty strong. So I'll be using this in lieu of any other weapon, because my other weapon choices probably won't be outclassing that, even at base power, for quite some time. But now that we have a bow, we don't have to put ourselves in danger to engage the rats. We can bring them out one at a time. Yeah, powerful, powerful weapon. Very good. Now, the Drake Sword does have a special attack. I will go over that once there we go. Once I'm not, like, busy doing this. Because it's a very niche special attack, doesn't really help in too many situations. What the hell? Oh, he's going around. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute, did you just walk through the wall? No, I was just standing in a really weird place. Okay. But yeah, now that we have the Drake Sword, we can go about our business. The reason you don't want to do that if you are playing Remastered is due to how weapon level affects your matchmaking. This being a dragon weapon, I believe it is classed as a +5 weapon by default, or maybe it's +10. But basically, if you get this weapon too early, you'll end up fighting people that are using way more powerful weapons than you, and you will just get stomped. Okay, so up here is a good area to demonstrate what I meant earlier about sniping and how the reticle works. So if we try to snipe one of these dudes up here, if we put the reticle directly on his head, he should be far enough away to where that won't work. So, okay, no, he's not far enough away. I had to aim a little up, but if he was sufficiently far enough away, the arrow would be moving like slightly towards his left instead of directly at the center. But all that really served to do was to actually aggro the guy, so we'll deal with these guys before heading up Andre. Now, the one drawback to the Drake Sword is that the Drake Sword's pretty heavy. At least the same as the Halberd at 6 weight. Ooh, more free Titanite. Don't mind if I do. Okay, I think we're done with all of the like fire damage dudes around here. As for the Balder Shield, you get it from these guys. It's a rare drop, too. It's like a 2% chance of dropping or something. Their sword, the Balder Side Sword, is a 1% drop. Okay, so normally I'd like run over to the side and kill the rapier dude in the corner. However, we can just hit this guy in the head and make him come to us. One of those rapier guys actually helped me out with my farming a lot, because after I got 10 humanity, I was running back from Andre's bonfire to go to Firelink, I think, because I was going to farm the large club first. And I killed that one there in the corner because he was in my way, and he happened to drop his rapier. It's in really bad condition, so I'm not going to use it now. But the actual base rapier is one of the better weapons to use if you are doing a very parry-heavy playstyle or a very critical hit-heavy playstyle. Because I mentioned in the last episode that thrusting swords like the S-Stock and the rapier do bonus damage on riposte compared to other weapons. Of those, the base rapier has one of the highest modifiers, if not the highest. So if you're going for a build that's very parry and riposte heavy, a standard rapier is probably going to be your best friend. It'll do a lot of damage. But it made farming the large club a lot easier. I was killing the enemies down there in about 4 ripostes due to the bonus damage it was doing. Andre! What's up, buddy?
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
I do, but first off, I want to buy some of your stuff. I need that crest, thank you. I need all of these smith boxes and the repair box. So now we have roughly like 60-some-odd thousand souls just sitting around making noise in our pockets. So let's go ahead and upgrade some stuff. So I want to reinforce my armor first. If you are playing Remaster, I heavily suggest you do this too, because armor level does not affect your matchmaking. I want to do armor first because armor is cheaper and will help soften the blow a bit for not leveling up vitality as much as I probably should. So let's go ahead and get all these upgraded. Titanite shards will cover the upgrades for the first 3 levels of armor. And then we should need 8 to finish that off, so we have plenty of souls, so we can purchase the rest. Not a huge deal. Okay, so now I want to reinforce weapon because this is where shields would be. Let me think. I want to reinforce... Let's see. I'm gonna want to reinforce the Balder Shield and the Spider Shield for sure. The Dragon Crest Shield I'll only reinforce if I get really unlucky. There's also my weapons I want to reinforce, but I want to save that for a bit later because the Drake Sword will cover me for now. So, let's see, I believe it's a total of 9 shards you need to get a weapon to +5. So, let's see, because it's 1 for the first 2 levels, 2, 4, 3, and 4, and then 3 for the last one. So, yeah, I'm going to need 18 of these. go ahead and upgrade my shields. Reinforced weapon. Get this up. And for shields, specifically, if you look, you'll notice this is upgrading the stability. Or at least it should be. I don't know why it's not doing it for that, but... Oh. Reinforced weapon. Let's see. Okay, so we have maxed out our Baldur shield for now. So let's go ahead and upgrade our Spider shield again. Now, the reason I'm not upgrading the Dragon Crest shield is because we don't have any Twinkling Titanite. Even if it is technically better against fire than the Spider shield would be, the Spider shield just has better stability. So I actually want to get a weapon.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
I actually want to farm one more weapon, and the problem with that is to get said weapon, I have to farm a boss. So we're gonna have to see if that will work. Now, I know what you're thinking. Farm a boss? How would you do that? Because every boss we've encountered up to this point has been a one-time fight. Once you kill them, the fight ends, and if they drop something good, if they don't, sucks to be you, I guess. Case in point, the Taurus Demon. The Taurus Demon can actually drop his axe. It's a weapon that he can drop. It's one of the better strength weapons in the game. The most powerful great axe in the game, if memory serves. I'm just going back to this way because I completely forgot to rest at the bonfire. But, oh yeah, something I should probably mention about reinforcing weapons and armor. Whenever you reinforce a piece of equipment, it repairs it for you. So I can guarantee you that my armor had probably been damaged before I forged it. But if we look here, you'll see it's only the Brigand stuff that needs repair, not the Wanderer set. So, let's see. Okay, just rest here. This should do fine. Now, ordinarily, for this boss coming up, I would like to turn human, but that's going to cost me a humanity, and I don't want to waste those. So, we're going to try and see if we can get our drop. If we're lucky, we'll get it the first go round, but if not, oh well, there's... we'll just keep farming it if need be. But because it's a boss fight, I don't want it to do it off-screen, even if it may take a bit. Yeah, with all the big nasty enemies in here gone. Okay, you're parrying, you're not going to be doing much. But yeah, with all of the big nasty enemies in here gone, getting back up here is a pretty easy task. Come on! Oh nice, another rapier, thank you. Okay, so before we go forward, I actually want to read the item description of the Drake Sword to give you guys some insight into a mechanic that is exclusive to weapons like it. If I can find it, where'd it go? Here it is, Drake Sword. This sword, one of the rare dragon weapons, is formed by a drake's tail. Drakes are seen as underdeveloped imitators of dragons, but they are likely their distant kin. That's worded very weirdly. The sword is imbued with a mystical power to be released when held in both hands. So specifically what that's referring to is it's referring to a special attack that you can execute by doing a two-handed heavy attack with this sword. So this is probably one of the better locations to show that off in. So let's just go ahead and get as many of these guys crammed in this doorway as we can. Okay, this'll do. So I want to aim for the guy in the back. Whoosh! You fire a shockwave in a straight line and it just eviscerates anything that gets caught in it. The only downside is that it's a very narrow hitbox, so you have to line them up basically single file. And what the game doesn't tell you is that in order to power that, since we don't have a mana bar, in Dark Souls 3, that special move would be considered a weapon arc. and that would use your mana in that game. But in this game, since we don't have a mana gauge, instead, using that special attack shaves off a whopping 30 points of durability from the sword. So spamming that thing is a really good way to break your weapon. So, generally speaking, I'm not going to use it. I just did it to show it off. Okay, so let's make some preparations before going in here. I want the spider shield for the stability. We're not going to be shooting this boss, so keeping the bow unequipped will just lower our load a little bit. But yeah, we want the spider shield for a good combination of stability and fire resistance. So I'm mainly here to farm an item because this boss is unique. Okay, so I gotta deal with this guy quickly, if I can. So, this is the Bell Gargoyle. This boss is designed to teach you a few things. For one, it teaches you not to dally too much, because if you take too long... Oh, nice! That's one of the reasons I like the Greatsword, or the Drake Sword, because you can cut his tail off in one hit. He teaches you not to dally, because if you take too long, or if you damage him too quickly, he will summon a friend. Or rather, a friend will jump down from the belfry and attack you. And what makes this fight unique is that this is what's known as a dual boss. You end up fighting two enemies at once. And this is why I wanted to upgrade my shield. These two are a noob killer, primarily because they are a gear check fight. They are here to check and make sure if you have been upgrading your weapons or not. Okay, ooh. And he didn't drop anything. Okay, so what makes this unique is that... Ow. What makes this unique is that these guys show up as regular enemies later, and they actually have item drops. And you can get those drops here in the boss fight. Now, Dark Souls has a mechanic where if there's only a limited number of a given enemy in the world because they're unique, if they have unique drops, if you kill the very last one and have not received that drop yet, you're guaranteed to get it. However, the one specific drop I'm looking for from these guys is that halberd of theirs. But anyway, back to the actual fight itself. Something else that these guys are here to teach you is they are the first boss that you can fight, that you are actually intended to fight. The Drake doesn't count because you're not supposed to kill him. He's an environmental hazard more than anything. These guys are the first boss that has a tail that you can cut off. Ooh, spicy! But these guys are the first boss that has a tail you can cut off that you're intended to do that to. The problem with these guys is they cover each other really well, because that one in the back likes to spam fire breath. Ooh, okay. Now, thankfully, me having upgraded my armor does cover for my lack of HP, but it won't work for too many hits. Also, be careful. You'll notice there's no guardrails or anything up here because we are literally fighting on a roof. It is all too easy to accidentally fall off of the arena. Gotcha. Okay, did you drop it this time? Okay, no, he didn't. He dropped his other items that I don't care about. You can get one of 3 items from the gargoyle when you kill it. You can get his shield, his helmet, or his halberd. I want his halberd, because it is an incredibly good weapon. One of the better two-handed weapons in the game, in fact. So, let's see what we can do. But the lesson that these guys are here to teach you about the cutting the tail off is not only do you get a weapon for cutting his tail off, so if you're a treasure hunter or a rare item collector, you're incentivized to cut it off for that reason. Removing the tail removes combat options. There we go. You gonna drop it this time? You stingy jerk! Wow. This is just the run of bad drop rates, apparently. First those ogres refusing to drop their club, now this guy not wanting to give me his halberd. But yeah, you are incentivized in multiple instances and in multiple ways to cut off the tail of any enemy that has one. Because generally, if any enemy attacks you with their tail, chances are you can cut it off. So, in this instance, cutting off this guy's axe tail will stop him from attacking you with it. There we go. Oof. Okay, I ended up blocking with the Drake Sword there. Not a smart move. Alright, you gonna drop it? There we go! Gargoyles Halberd. That's what I wanted. Okay, we can probably very easily finish this guy off. However, I don't want to do that because I got the item. We can actually get an extra item from these guys if we turn human first. It's a small thing, but it's something I like to do. And now that we have the Gargoyles Halberd, we can actually focus on upgrading our weapons a bit. I'm not going to do it too much. I'll probably do like a between-stream farming if I really need to. But to make it a bit more in line with Remaster, I'm probably going to keep the weapons kind of like the upgrade on the weapons gradual. Now, granted, obviously it's not one-to-one because I'm using the Drake Sword, but with my current stats for the next couple of areas, even if I upgraded the weapons to +5, my stats wouldn't be high enough for most of them to outpace the Drake Sword even a little bit. So I want to go to Firelink, actually, because Firelink will give me all of my Estus back. And we will worry about weapon upgrades and other such stuff once we actually kill the boss. Sorry, my thoughts are going all over the place. But yeah, no. Basic recap. The Gargoyles are there not only to be a gear check, they are also there to teach you about being efficiently aggressive, I guess. And also that cutting tails off of monsters is a mechanic. So, here we go. Let's rest. Okay, so this is going to be the first time I actually want to reverse hollowing. Humanity restored. So now you'll notice we no longer look like a zombie, and the number in our UI has turned white. We can now more freely interact with any online content if there was any. But just because the online is disabled does not mean that certain online mechanics are disabled, which I will show once we actually get back to the boss door. Okay, I already showed off the Drake Sword's special attacks, so let's use a different weapon for this. I should be able to use the Gargoyles Halberd. It doesn't slow me down too much. Now, the Gargoyles Halberd statistically is almost identical to the regular Halberd. The main difference is in the moveset, where instead of doing a straightforward stab, you do a sort of overhead swing like that. And you'll notice it comes out pretty quick, despite being intended as a two-handed weapon. So it comes out real fast, it's got really good damage, it's got good reach, and one of the reasons I like it, which is more prevalent if you're playing Remastered, or I guess if you're using mods to emulate a server, because I know there's some mods that do that, or there's some workaround for the online and Prepare to Die not working. It's incredibly risky, though, because of the reason the online got taken down to begin with. But I'll save that story for after we fight the boss. But basically, the Gargoyles Halberd is probably one of the better all-around weapons in the game. So, both it and the regular halberd are both really good. I just prefer the Gargoyles halberd's moveset. So, now that we've come up here, if you turn around, you will notice that there's a glowing white sign here. This is the kind of sign you would see if you used a white sign soapstone. And this is Lautrec. If you free him from the jail cell and then talk to him in Firelink, he will place his sign here. And he'll help you out with the boss. Naturally, as you guys have seen, I don't need his help, but it's nice to show it off, and I kind of do it anyway, just like for fun. Because it's like, hey, it's giving him the chance to pay us back for free. It doesn't matter if it's an NPC or a player. If somebody is summoned to help you, you're polite to them. Now, unfortunately, since he is an NPC summon, his AI is not the best. I've seen him try to take a shortcut and end up taking fall damage. And then up here, this one is yellow. This is Solaire's summon sign, because Solaire is a warrior of sunlight, which is actually a covenant that we can join. And one of the major signs of a warrior of the sun is that they have a gold summon sign instead of a white one. So, the reason I actually wanted to do this is primarily because of Solaire. Not only is Solaire just a bro and really fun to, you know, just a really good character overall, the fact that he's a warrior of the sun is also a good reason to bring him along. And you'll see this guy will just get absolutely shredded when we have Phantoms helping us out. Now, something to be wary of when you're summoning a Phantom to help you... Uh-oh. Ooh. Of course, he's not wanting to show his... Give me your tail! There we go. It's not very evident, but you can actually see when I'm attacking him, he's taking less damage. That's not because his defenses have increased, it's because, when you have Phantoms helping you, bosses get an HP buff. But yeah, if you're having trouble with this fight, just pop a Humanity, summon Solaire and Lautrec if you have him, and they help make this fight very easy. So, for beating this battle, we get a Twin Humanity. That's a guaranteed drop since it's 2 bosses. However, we got a Sunlight Medal. We got that for beating a boss with a Warrior of the Sun in the party. So, anytime you see Solaire, summon him. Get a Warrior, get a Sunlight Medal. Get a nice little, extra little bonus there. Okay, Balder Shield. We can put our bow back on since we don't need the, we don't need to have it unequipped anymore. God, my inventory is a mess. I'm going to have to clean this up. Let's see, longbow. There it is. And then up the ladder we go. Pull the lever! The bell has echoed across the local area. And a fun fact, if you're playing Remastered, and you are playing online in the parish, you will occasionally hear the bell tolling. Every time you hear that, another player in their game has rung the bell. And now that we've rung the bell, this guy shows up.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Karim, the Park. Thou art a friend. For thee, a warm welcome. Cometh thou to confess? Or to accuse? For indeed all sin is my domain.
I just noticed he's got dual scabbards there. Alright, let's learn a gesture. Well, what is it? Everybody knows this one. Okay, so Oswald of Karim here is a pretty unique NPC And if you actually care about the game's sin system, he is the one NPC you never want to attack. So, what this guy does is whenever you commit a crime against either an NPC or another player, you will accrue sin. And sin will have various negative consequences depending on the type of sin. There's standard sin, which you get from murdering people. And then there's covenant-related sin, which you get from leaving covenants or betraying them. And Oswald, with one exception, can absolve you of all of your sins by paying an indulgence fee. For those of you who don't know your medieval history, the catalyst behind the Protestant Reformation was corruption of the Catholic Church, where they would sell indulgences to people. Basically, the idea is if you pay a priest, you can have your sins cleansed. Kind of the same idea here. So I don't think we've committed any sins, so we won't have anything to absolve. Yeah, you have not sinned. The only way you can really sin offline is by killing friendly NPCs or betraying a covenant, but the only covenant we have access to right now can't be betrayed, so to speak, because it doesn't have any progression, and covenant betrayal is tied to covenant progression. But request absolution will cleanse you of all your sins for paying an indulgence fee, a very expensive one. And abandon covenant, what that does is it allows you to break your covenant with whatever covenant you happen to be with at the time for no penalty. Later covenants that we will discover have progression systems where you have to give them some sort of unique item to advance in their ranks, and higher ranks of the covenant will give you special abilities or items or whatever. And what happens if you abandon a covenant without using Oswald, your progress will get cut in half, and you can actually lose covenant levels that way. Abandoning via Oswald does not carry such penalties. And he also has a couple of items. Purging stones are important. We'll probably want some of those. We can get some for free. Indictments and the Book of the Guilty are useless because they are online items. Slip sold by Bishop of Velka, Goddess of Sin. If you are killed by an invader, use this to report the crime of that trespasser. The indicted player will be added to a list of unfortunate souls who will one day face the wrath of the Blades of the Dark Moon. So how this works is the indictments are how you accrue sin from killing another player. If they have an indictment on you, they can indict you and increase your PvP sin count. And most sin, not counting covenant sin, increases your standing in the Book of the Guilty here. The Goddess of Sin, Velka, oversees this list of the guilty who have disrespected the gods or their covenants and shall one day face the wrath of the Blades of the Dark Moon. The Blades of the Dark Moon are another covenant you can join. It's a PvP-centric one that specifically targets people who are in the Book of the Guilty. And then let's see, he sells Karmic Justice, Velka's Talisman. He's got some rings. I'm interested in these Rings of Sacrifice, and you can purchase multiples from him. I think he has a limited stock. I don't want to buy too many, but I'm pretty sure he only sells like 4. 4 or 5. Let me check. Because if he has an unlimited amount, I might want to save those for later or just not buy them at all. But let's see. Oh, he's got 10 of them. Okay, so yeah, we'll need like 50,000 souls for that, but I don't think that'll be necessary. I doubt we'll need that many. But the 3 we have for now will do. Especially since I stupidly died and lost mine. I suppose just purchasing a single replacement would have been fine, but we've got enough souls. We can hold it. And then we've also got the Blood and Poison Bite rings. The Blood Bite ring is a very circumstantial item, not particularly helpful in most instances. The Poison Bite ring can help in Blighttown, though, because it boosts poison resistance, which in this game covers both poison and toxic.
Thou art welcome any time. It is only human to commit a sin.
He's sinister, but he's friendly. And it looks like my stream is frozen again. Damn you, Twitch. go. Okay, now that we've done that, I actually want to go back to... I want to head back down towards Andre. I'm going to pop a humanity to, well, get my humanity back. And so I can start getting better drops again. Or at least maximize my available drop chance. And I want to use the last of my souls upgrading equipment. So we'll do that. Now, my shields are fine. I'll keep those at +5 just because, you know, they're not really a weapon per se. But my actual proper weapons, like my various swords and stuff, I'll probably upgrade those gradually. Not only to be more in line with a more intended remastered experience. It also makes the game a little bit more challenging because I'm not running around with maxed out weapons all the time. And it'll also cut down on the need for massive grinds. So, now we will be doing a brief sequence break at some point to go farm an item. But we're probably going to be going all over the place in this stream because there's a lot to do because once you get to Andre, a lot kind of opens up. Alright, so let's go see about Andre, and actually, let's go mess with our bottomless box real quick. Okay, we have way too much crap. I'll keep one cracked red eye orb, because I actually do have a use for that. Don't need a throwing knife. I'll take one dung pie, because I'm pretty sure I can use that. Gold pine resin, I'll keep those, that could be handy. Lloyd's talismans are useless, because PvP is not a thing. Alluring skulls are basically useless. Transient curses we'll need later. Store those for now. And then let's see. Twin humanities I'll hang on to. Rubbish I'll hang on to. Put away the coin. We don't need all of these short and long swords. Store straight swords, basically just treasure. We're not going to use it. Don't need any of these two-handed weapons. I'll keep the falchion. Put the rapiers away. Put the Estoc away. Don't need the battle axe. Gargoyle tail axe is just treasure. Keep the reinforced club, Morning Star, large club, Demon's Great Hammer. The spears, probably won't need those anymore. Don't need the regular halberd. Put all these crossbows away. All these shields I'm not using. Don't need the heater shield anymore. Night shield was never good. Keep the grass crest shield, gargoyle shield. Keep the Dragon Crest shield, might need it later. Put the feather arrows away. I'm not going to be using crossbow bolts. Let's see. Don't need the standard equipment. Don't need the brigand set. Or the standard leather armor. Or any of this like Hollow Warrior, Hollow Soldier stuff. All of this is just junk. Various equipment. The Gargoyle helmet, if you're interested in like specific protections, the Gargoyle helmet's actually got the best bleed resistance of any headpiece. So if you're in a situation where bleed is a problem, you may want to consider leveling that up and hanging on to it. I'll keep these Rings of Sacrifices, or Rings of Sacrifice stored away for now. I'll keep one on me just in case. And then that should be my bag cleaned up. Alright, Andre, let's see what we can do here. I want to completely drain myself of souls before moving on to the next area.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
That I do, my good man. So let's see, reinforce. What do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 weapons to upgrade. So that's going to be 10 Titanite shards to get them to +2. So let's see, that's going to be 10 to get them all to +2. Falchion +1, Falchion +2, Reinforced Club +1, Reinforced Club +2, Gargoyles Halberd. Yeah, one of the nice things about the Gargoyles Halberd as well is it's not classed as a great weapon like the Large Club. The Large Club is considered a great hammer, I think, and like the really big two-handed weapons cost more to upgrade. Because you can see all these other weapons here only cost 200, that one costs 800. Let's see, Longbow +2, that'll be helpful. And then we need to upgrade the large club to the large club +2. Now, we're not actually going to be using the large club yet. Like I said, I don't think we can use it, but it'll be nice to upgrade it for when we can use it. Okay, do I have enough souls to upgrade them all to +3? Which would be another 10 soul, or another 10 shards. Do I have enough for that? I don't think I would have enough to get them all to +4, but I can get them to +3 at least. So, let's see. Falchion, Reinforced Club, Gargoyles Halberd, Longbow, and then the Large Club. Okay, it's going to be 8,000 souls to get another 10, and I don't think I would be able to upgrade them past that. As far as, like, I'm going to want to upgrade all of these, but there is a certain order I do want to upgrade these in. The large club, for example, I'm probably not going to care too much about that because we can't use it right now. It's the last thing I'll probably upgrade. I definitely want to put a lot of focus on the Gargoyles Halberd, the Longbow, the Falchion, and especially the Reinforced Club. If any weapon I want to get to +5, it'll probably be the Reinforced Club first. But, let's see. Purchase item. I might be able to do it. Actually, yeah, I should have enough. So, reinforced weapon. Get this to +4. +4. +4. Yeah, I've got enough. +4. And then +4. So, I don't have enough to get these to +5, but I can focus on the weapons I'll actually be using. So, let's see, that's going to be how many? I think they need 3 each, so that's going to be 15 shards to upgrade all that. I can only get 7, so I can get 2 weapons to, let's see, purchase item. I can get 2 weapons to +5. I'm going to want to do that with the longbow and the reinforced club. So the Reinforced Club can't be upgraded anymore, but it's really important we have that at +5.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
So let's look at the weapons we have now and see how they compare to our Drake Sword. So the Falchion has a base 114 attack power with a +30 from scaling, so that makes that 144, so less than 200, we don't want to use it. Let's see, the Reinforced Club +5 is 145 +29. That, I believe, is 174, so getting closer, but still not good enough. The large club we can't use yet because we don't have the stats for it. Now, the Gargoyles Halberd is probably the weapon that's the closest to the Drake Sword in power. It has 161 +34, which is 195. Still weaker than the Drake Sword, but it's getting there. If we can get that to +5, it can probably keep pace with it. And then the longbow we're not going to compare it to because that's just a ranged weapon. We have that for ranged engagements. Okay, so I'm going to pop a humanity real quick. There we go. Make sure we keep our 10 humanity. And now we're going to head down here. We have business back in this direction. You might remember this guy from when we came through Darkroot initially. This is a Titanite demon. I want to do some damage comparison because I think... Whoa! Okay, be very careful of that jump attack. That jump attack is gnarly. Depending on how he ends up getting positioned when he does that, he can potentially one-shot you. Because that attack not only has its own hitbox from the attack hitting you, it also has his hitbox from landing on you. Because you can, like, jump on enemies if you somehow manage to fall on top of them. And some enemies can do that. Whew. You can see how much damage that did to the shield. It's very variable, which is what makes that attack so dangerous. It's probably the most dangerous attack they have. Don't bother trying to parry this guy. You can't parry anything he can do. Watch out for the jump attack. He's got a lightning projectile if you get too far away. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of wide sweeps that do a lot of stamina damage if you block them. Ooh. He does have a grab. He's not seeming inclined to do it right now, though. I think you have to, like, really stick close to them in order to make them do the grab. And that should go over my head. Watch out for their tails, by the way. When they're attacking, their tail does have a hitbox. Okay, you got anything nice for me? Demon Titanite, that'll come in handy later. You can get a weapon from them. Their weapon is called the Titanite Catchpole. You can get it from them. It's a halberd type weapon, but I don't care about it particularly. And there goes the black screen. Okay. Alright, so now we have to deal with these things. Tree people. I forget what these guys are actually called. Most people just call them Ents. Or foliage demons. I think that's what their official name is. So, welcome back to Darkroot Garden. I don't remember if I mentioned this in a previous episode or not. Oh! Woo! Okay, I think we still died there. But I may have saved myself? Let's see. That's a little something you can do if you're creative. Nope! The game still killed me because I didn't do it fast enough. Now, what this will hopefully do is, hopefully this will allow me to get to my bloodstain a little easier. Because it'll have it on the cliff instead of down where we fell. Because that wasn't a bottomless pit that we fell into. That was actually an area that we could get to later on in the area. But yeah, if you're quick with menu navigation, you can save yourself from falls like that. Generally speaking, I don't like doing that kind of stuff. I kind of did it as a reflex to maybe potentially save myself, but no. You guys can consider it more of a show-off kind of thing. It's a thing you can do. Speedrunners can actually make use of that trick to glitch into certain areas. Okay, I really want my humanity back, because, among other things, you'll notice these foliage demons like dropping moss clumps. Moss clumps are status curing items, and they drop all three kinds. Okay. Yeah, you just go down there. I ain't going with you. Thank you. And while I'm thinking about it, actually, since we rang the bell, I think Andre actually has some more stuff to say. Because NPCs will update their dialogue as you go through. So let's go see what's going on with that. I don't want to rest at the bonfire, but I do want to at least talk to him.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged? This is the old church. It was abandoned in favor of the church that you passed through. There are paths leading from here to two forbidden plains, Sen's Fortress and the Darkroot Garden. They attract all sorts of lunatics, no one as cultured as yourself. It's fine to be undead, but keep a level head, eh?
Well, I appreciate the compliment, even though I look like jerky again.
Sen's Fortress is an old proving grounds built by the ancient gods. It is the only route leading to the great Anor Londo. Of course, most fools can't even find their way into that fortified death trap. But they won't stop trying. Take that bumbling Sir Onion. I know little of the Darkroot Garden, although I've heard rumors of a divine blacksmith who resides there. Those who get stumped in the catacombs seek him for divine weapons. I know little of the...
Yeah. So...
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Thank you. Okay, so he gave us some little bits of information about where we can go from here. Sen's Fortress we can't get into because the door's shut. And as for that bumbling Sir Onion, as he so called him, that is actually an NPC we can talk to start a quest. However, talking to that NPC in his current location has the potential to cause him to glitch out and make it to where you lose his quest entirely. So he is the one NPC I am not going to talk to at the earliest opportunity when they first appear. Okay, so let's head into Darkroot. Let's go back to my train of thought before I slipped and fell into a pit. I don't recall if I mentioned this earlier or not. I may have told this to Star during our practice run, and I'm just conflating it with the Let's Play. But Darkroot has 3 distinct areas to it. There is what I call the front of Darkroot Garden, the back of Darkroot Garden, and the basin. We have been to the basin because that's where Hobble's Tower is located, and it has a tunnel leading to the Valley of Drakes. Where we are right now is in the front of the garden. So, you may notice this weird-looking bush thing here. It's being kind of obscured by this foliage demon's corpse. Oh, havoc physics. Yeah, you might notice this spiky-looking bush. That's a foliage demon hiding in the ground. You can hit them prematurely to knock them out of it and disengage their trap. Melee works, ranged works, magic works. Anything will do, really. Okay. So this area right here is very, very important. This area here can be considered the center of Darkroot Garden. Because from here, you can take that broken side path right there to continue into the front area of the garden. Or, if you have the Crest of Artorias from Andre, you can open that door to get access into the back of the garden. This crest opens a door in the Darkroot Garden sealed by ancient magic. The door leads to the grave of Sir Artorias the Abysswalker. Many adventurers have left for the grave, but none have returned, for they make easy prey for local bandits. With such dangers, the crest can do more harm than good in the hands of the uninitiated. So I'm going to go ahead and open the door, but I'm not going to go back there. Not yet, anyway. Rest assured, we will be going back there eventually, just not right now. And something else that's very important about this area, if you walk over here and angle the camera, that looks like a bonfire over there on the left side of the screen. I believe this is our first instance of an invisible wall, or illusory wall. You attack that wall, it disappears. It's a fake. And we have the only bonfire in the area. Okay, so for now, I'm going to continue adventuring in the front part of the garden. We will go to the back eventually. So I will go ahead and point out, the reason I went ahead and opened up the back part of the garden is I will have to do soul farming for some things, like to make purchases and stuff. And while the Drake Bridge is good, it's not the best. It's also really boring and not very engaging because it's literally just going up and down a ladder and up and down some stairs. It gets boring pretty quickly, and the payouts are rather small. However, if you are sufficiently geared up and you go into the back of Darkroot Garden through the door of Artorias there, the bandits that the item description mentioned, those are actual NPCs you'll encounter back there that will attack you. They are incredibly powerful. They have, I think, like +6 or +7 weapons. But if you can kill them, they drop souls by the thousands, which for early game purchases is really, really nice. And a vast majority of them respawn. So that's where I'll be going to farm souls for like the first third of the game or so, until we get a much better place. But back to stuff what's currently at hand. You may have noticed I killed all these foliage demons before interacting with that corpse. If you interact with that corpse without killing them, all 3 will spring up and attack you at once. And by the way, that's also the only time you can do that. Because looting the corpse is the trigger for them to all pop up at once. So now that we've looted it, anytime we come back through here, either after dying or resting at a bonfire, all 3 of those things will already be up and will attack us. Okay, this is probably the most dangerous area in this part of the garden, so I'm going to avoid it. Instead, focus on this really weird-looking tree that seems to be moving its roots. Something, something, lumberjack, something, something... Yeah. Do I really have to make the Monty Python reference? But yeah, that tree there is actually an enemy. You can destroy it to open up a hidden path. This red thing is just a trash mob. It's called a frog ray. If you're interested in an item called a green blossom, which is a consumable item that gives you a temporary buff, that gives you the Chloranthy Ring / Grass Crest Shield stamina regen effect. If you're interested in those, the frog rays can drop them, and they only really appear down here, so... Okay, we got another new enemy here. I'm going to see if I can... The thing is, he's part of an ambush, so I want to see if I can disengage the ambush before waking him up. Okay, there's like 4 or 5 frog rays here. Uh-oh. Oof, that did some damage. Yeah, they like to give you literal tongue lashings. Don't give a whole lot of souls, but overall they're pretty weak. Okay, green blossom. This body's got one. Thank you. Yeah, you can see they drop them fairly commonly. Alright. It's a little proud knight. So you guys may notice that statue. Oh yeah, something else, since we're on the topic of enemies. Something I forgot about the foliage demons. You can't parry any of their attacks, and they have a grab. If you ever are close to one and you see it raise both of its arms straight up like it's trying to give you a big ol' hug, get away from it, because that's it trying to grab you. And then we have this guy, the Stone Guardian. These are the big, beefy enemies of the area. Oh, jeez. He could have killed me there. Now, something we want to be very mindful of is we want to watch a tell. Oh, he was about to do it there, but I killed him. Oops, too bad for you. Yow. So, you want to kill him before going up this staircase, because if you don't, he'll wake up when you go up this staircase, and he will sandwich you in this very narrow corridor. And I say sandwich because there's another one right at the top of this little staircase type thing. Staircase, ramp, whatever. I guess at this point it's more of a tunnel. Yeah, you can see there's another one here. And you don't want to get sandwiched between 2 of these guys because one of them's a nuisance enough. So these guys like to counter fast characters because their sword has a special attack. Of course, we're not giving them a chance to use it, but there you go. If you ever see them hold their, look skyward, hold their sword in both hands, and then point it straight up, they're casting a spell called Tranquil Walk of Peace, which is probably the funniest name for a spell in any game that I've seen, because it is definitely not a Tranquil Walk of Peace. What it is it's a slowing spell. It specifically raises your encumbrance. Yeah, you wake up, and you're a little confused, and he will probably leash before he actually manages to come all the way over here. But Tranquil Walk of Peace, also known as TWAP, massively increases your encumbrance to where you can't roll, you can't sprint, or do any of that fun stuff, and you move really slowly. So that corpse is important because that corpse has the wolf ring, which gives us poise. I probably won't be using that quite yet, because the Chloranthy Ring stamina bonus is still very helpful, since we haven't invested in endurance much, if at all. Okay, you're not coming after me, which is a bit weird. Normally you do. Alright, Mr. Foliage Demon, yeah, he leashed, so he's over here. Nope, you are not the one I shot. You're the one I shot. So, are you gonna do... No, you're just gonna do a lash. You can kind of tell when they're about to do their grab, when they do the arm-raising thing. because you'll notice they actually do have a thing where they raise their arms up and then slam it down and try to lash at you with both arms. You can tell the difference between that attack and the grab, because when he's doing the lash attack, his arms will grow long and wispy, whereas with the grab, when he's doing the lash attack, they become long and wispy. When it's becoming the grab, or going into the grab, they stay the same size. Nice, just slashing the wall there. Oi! Wake up. There we go. These guys probably won't hit me, but good to have a spider shield just in case. So you notice this weird vine. It has some snake heads. It's because it's not a vine, it's a tree lizard. Now, tree lizards are venomous. If any of their heads bite you, they will attempt to poison. But there's only 2 of them, and they are here guarding corpses, more or less. Or they're acting as traps. So just kill them, disengage the trap, go on with your day. Now, this clearing here, or this little copse, you want to take it slow. You want to start from the outside and work your way in. Because there's a bunch of foliage demons and a bunch of stone guardians here. And much like the 3 foliage demons in the tunnel leading up to this area, there is a valuable corpse in the middle of it, and if you go for the corpse, you will wake up everything. Oh, he got twop off. That's okay. Yeah, you really want a good, sturdy shield when fighting these guys, so that way you're not too negatively impacted by twop. Okay. So we want to do this carefully. Start with that guy, then go over here. No. So those are like the 2 loose stone guardians. Oh, I guess there's a 3rd one. Forgot about you. Yeah, you want to kind of start from the outside, slowly work your way in, disengage the trap 1 enemy at a time. Thankfully, twop does not negatively impact your stamina regen, which having higher weight normally does. Okay. So now we want to start working our way in. Using a ranged weapon, you want to take pot shots at the buried foliage demons here. Having a bow is just so helpful for disengaging traps. Okay, so you saw maybe very briefly when he was pulling his arms back that they got longer. That's how you could tell he was doing the lash. That, notice how his arms didn't grow. That was the grab. Okay, took care of those 2. I want to go back around this way. And there's 2 more of them right there. Now you want to be careful with these 2 in particular, because these 2 are close to the corpse. So if you try to approach them after aggroing them, you may end up aggroing everything else. So let them come to you. Come on. So now we want to wake up this guy and make him come to us. Now, those two stone guardians, or I think these are stone warriors. The stone guardians are something else, but actually, no, I think these are the stone guardians. But these two here are the last enemies that make up the trap in this area. So when it's just this guy, you can just walk over here, grab the Elite Knight set from that corpse, and you're the only guard left. And now you're dead. Sucks to be you. Okay, so I'm going to have to become human again because we've effectively cleared the area, and all that's left is the boss. Now, when dealing with the boss, I want to be human for two reasons. The main reason is because there's actually a side quest associated with that boss that requires you to be human. And just makes the fight easier if you do it the side quest way. So let's reverse hollowing, get our humanity back. Let's see. I think I'll keep a purple moss clump on me. Well, green blossom. I think that'd probably work better. There we go. Okay. And yep, you'll see all these guys are already awake and very upset with us. I'm not gonna kill all of those dudes in the cops again. Oh yeah, by the way, this one in particular, he is there to guard the tunnel that goes towards that partisan that was back there. If you don't kill him before going down there, he'll surface and come after you. But yeah, I'm not interested in the enemies in the cops. I'm just gonna kill the enemies on the way to this tower over here. And the boss is at the top of the tower. I was actually about to talk about this. Egg Vermifuge. That is a status curing item for a unique status effect that we won't be encountering for quite some time. Because that cures the Egghead status effect, which I actually want to catch that status at least once, and I'll explain what it does when I do. But that's how you cure it. Okay, so now that we've reached the tower, let's see, I don't think I have anything that's really good in the magic defense department because I've upgraded my gear. No, because the Pyromancer set, because it's unupgraded, is worse in basically every way. So yeah, alright. Blocking's not going to really avail us too much, so we want to use the shield with the best magic defense that we have, which in this case will be the Grass Crest shield. I'll take it. We will more than likely want the Drake Sword, and we want the bow, actually, because this is a boss that we can shoot. Now, before we go up there, you may notice a faint glow coming from this bush. There's a summon sign hidden here from Witch Beatrice. There are sometimes, for some bosses, summon signs for NPCs that you will never meet in the world. But they will still be summonable to help you. Witch Beatrice is one of them. Witch Beatrice, in particular, has a side quest that you can only complete by summoning her for every fight in which she's available. So, if you don't summon her here, you will fail her side quest. let's see. Yeah, I want the Corinthi ring for this one because stamina management is going to be crucial. Now, if I'm lucky, Beatrice can actually solo the boss for me because she's a mage. While I would appreciate the assistance, I am probably going to end up shooting the boss a few times. Now, notice how narrow this arena is? We're on this very tiny bridge. Be very careful if you bring friends here, because you can very easily get in each other's way. Okay. That attack you don't want to get hit by. That huge cloud? Ooh, ooh. Notice that did quite a bit of damage. That was the weaker attack there. Ooh, ooh. Beatrice, get out of my way! Beatrice. Yeah, the Moonlight Butterfly here does exclusively magic damage. Okay, so now we want to go in for melee swipes. Now, you want to be careful when you're doing this. As soon as you see it glowing, back off. That's what you get for getting in my way, Beatrice. Oh, well... Yeah, Beatrice can get in the way like that, but this boss is actually... can be surprisingly dangerous because it does pure magic damage. And unless you're playing as a sorcerer, you probably don't have armor with good magic defense. And that cloud attack that it did more than likely will insta-kill you if it hits you at this point. It has one more attack that it can do where it shoots a giant Godzilla-style laser beam. But it's a like arena sweep thing, but you can dodge through it, and it very rarely lives long enough to actually use that attack. But of all the early game bosses, that one probably kills me the most consistently. Just because sometimes you just get caught, and you can't really do anything about it. But anyway, we have what looks like a petrified Andre here, with a Watchtower basement key, and a Divine Ember, and a Homeward Bone if we wanted to leave, which I'll probably walk out, but let's take a look at what we picked up here. Starting with the Watchtower basement key. Key to the basement of the Watchtower in the Undead Burg. The basement of the Watchtower forms a stone cell. There are rumors of a hero turned hollow who was locked away by a dear friend. For his own good, of course. Now that would be referring to Hovel. We killed him because we have the Master Key. Let's see. Residence Key. Key to a residence in the Undead Burg. Simple, sturdy design of the locks in the burg keep out unwanted visitors. But this is a standard key in these parts and will open several residences. The Residence Key is a key you definitely want to pick up, even if you have the Master Key, because this opens 2 locks, only one of which is openable by the Master Key. So now we also have the Divine Ember. Ember required for weapon ascension. Divine Embers are property of the Church, and intended for Divine Blacksmiths. Ascends +5 standard weapon to Divine Weapon. Divine Weapon can be reinforced to +5. Divine Weapons are for undead hunting. Use against undead and the pawns of necromancers. Now, despite the fact that it's using undead with a capital U, that is not referring to the various hollows that we find around here. This is referring to the more typical kind of undead, namely the skeletons in the graveyard. Let's see, we also picked up a new soul. We picked up our first boss soul, the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. Soul of the mystical Moonlight Butterfly, which flitters in the dark root garden. Special beings have special souls. The butterfly's soul is a creation of Seath the Scaleless, used to acquire a huge amount of souls or to create a unique weapon. Now, boss souls, like that one, can be used to forge not only weapons, well, yeah, weapons, because shields are considered weapons in this game. They can be used to turn into weapons, shields, casting tools. There's a couple that can be converted into spells. But the methods vary. Or you can just pop them for an insane amount of experience. Or amount of souls, rather. I'm going to be saving the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly. I have no interest in what I can craft with it, because both items you can make with it are very weak. But I will be saving it to trade to an NPC later. The soul of the Moonlight Butterfly is in a similar situation to the souls of a lost undead, where you're better off waiting to give it to an NPC who will pay you more for it than you would get for popping it. Oh, that's the Grass Crest shield. I forgot to swap out. There we go. I'm more than a little sleepy right now. Okay, we're good. So I actually have some business in some side areas that I want to take care of before I level up. Oh, he's using TWAP. I'm gonna get over here. Thankfully, TWAP has a really limited range and it doesn't last very long, but by the time he catches up to us, we'll probably get caught on it. Yeah, you can see that glowing ring around our shoulders. Okay. So 2 bosses down so far, that's not too bad. Now, the next place I want to go for, like, exploration purposes, I actually want to head into the basin. However, there's something big and nasty in the basin, and I am not equipped to fight it yet. So I need to go to a side area first to get an item that will make fighting that thing a lot more feasible. It's also part of a, I guess you could call it a hidden side quest. I'm also kind of hoping one of these guys will drop a blooming purple moss clump. That'd be nice. Dang. Okay. Okay, so before we go to the basin, I actually want to head back to Firelink Shrine. Not only to restock on Estus, but also we need to go to Firelink Shrine to access the area I want to go to. Now, I'm not going to be completely exploring this area that we're heading to. I'm mainly in there to grab one specific item, and then I'll leave to come back another day. But I do actually want to grab that item in question. And I want to do some inventory rearrangement when I get back to the Firelink Shrine bonfire. Also want to catch up with our NPC buddies when we actually get back there, see if any of them have anything interesting to say. I have to say, I don't think you have anything new to say, do you?
Oh, hello. I will teach you miracles. A promise is a promise, after all. I'm afraid that may be difficult.
Okay, no you don't.
Come again.
I don't think he says anything new until we kill the next intended boss in the sequence. Let's go talk to Lautrec, see if he has anything to say about the whole killing the gargoyles thing. Yo, nice fighting up there. Thanks for the hand.
Well, where have you been?
Darkroot.
I'm glad to see you're safe.
I was busy fighting butterflies.
Have you heard of Trusty Patches? If ever a man has rubbed me up the wrong way, if he ever comes around again, I swear I'll have his hide.
Can't say that name sounds familiar to me. We haven't met anyone by that name.
You again. Our futures are murky.
That they are. I'll leave you to it then. Though thanks for the tip about Trusty Patches. We know whoever that is. Lautrec certainly doesn't like them. Yo, Mr. Crestfallen, how you doing?
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Well, don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide. What's wrong? Get a bit of a scare out there? No problem. Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it. Well, I've already decided. I don't really care. I'm simply crestfallen.
I accidentally skipped some dialogue there. I did not mean to do that. I thought he was doing his I'm out of dialogue, go away thing. Whoops.
Hmm?
Yeah, that one. Okay. Okay, so before I move on, I want to check my inventory and see if I can actually get anything of interest. Because where we're going has a merchant of a sort. So, let's see. However, this is the only merchant in the game that does not trade for souls. They trade in a more straightforward bartering system. So, let's see. Items I need to bring with me. Blood red moss clump and purple moss clump, which I've got plenty of those. I don't have a blooming purple moss clump yet, which I'm sure I'll get one at some point. I'll need the cracked red eye orb. I think I need a sunlight metal. Let's see. Yeah, I need a sunlight metal, a cracked red eye orb. I need the rubbish, an egg vermifuge. Let's see, a dung pie. A humanity, a twin humanity. I'll go ahead and put away the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly while we're here. Let's see, I've got the rubbish. And that's everything that I can take with me for now. So, yeah, rubbish, twin humanity, humanity. Let's see. Dung pie, I've got one of those. I'm not going to use these fire bombs. Egg vermifuge, the moss. Cracked red eye orb, sunlight metal. Okay, so that should be everything. Alright, so we want to head back up this way towards the parish elevator. But instead of actually going into the parish, whoop, we're gonna head up here. I believe I showed this in the last episode. You can roll off onto that, walk up here, and now we're on top of the tower. Now, the Crestfallen Warrior hasn't mentioned it yet, I don't think. But one of the things he can tell you about is he says something about the huge crow down there carrying off somebody curled up in a ball. So we can come up here, curl up like a ball, and pretend to be one of the eggs in the nest for a bit. We do this, just kind of wait a second. That blank stare of just, oh lord, it's not again. And we find ourselves back at the Northern Undead Asylum, the tutorial area. Okay, so before I do anything else, I want to equip the Dragon Crest Shield, because the front entrance is guarded by a bunch of hollows wielding torches. These guys are probably the most dangerous of the lot when it comes to the regular hollows. So I want to try and do some sniping now. Oh, I'm sorry, I gave the wrong direction when it comes to ADSing like this. It actually moves more to the right than to the left. So for distant targets like this one, instead of putting his head directly in the reticle, you want to kind of put it in between. You can kind of see how the reticle makes almost an X, with where the lines would cross being just a blank spot. You want to put the target's head kind of between the 2 points of the lines on the right side. So like right here should do. Ah, no, I missed. So let's see if I can do that again. There we go, I actually got him that time. Hit him in the arm though. Okay, the Dragon Crest Shield should protect me from the fire, but I don't want to move too fast too quickly lest I get mobbed. Okay, he's aggroed already. Back up, because I just attracted some unwanted attention. Okay, that attack he just did right there where he was running at me flailing, that attack is dangerous because that's the Flame Hollow's equivalent of the Blender. However, unlike the Blender, it doesn't matter how much poise you have, that charge attack of theirs or that running attack will always break your poise because the game doesn't count it as a regular attack. It counts it as the thing falling on you, which is a guaranteed poise break. Oh, just missed. I need to readjust my aim. There we go. There we go. I got him in the hand? Okay. Sure. Whatever, game. Alright. Now that it's just you... Yeah, don't try parrying that either. It won't work. Okay. Now that we've killed all of them, there is some new loot in this version of the Asylum, but any items that were here when you were here for the tutorial are still here. So, like, if you missed this Soul of the Lost Undead that's over there behind that crumbling wall, if you missed that, that's still there. And if you come over here, we see another smaller nest. Okay. Oddly quiet. There's supposed to be an NPC who talks to you when you approach this nest. They specifically ask for warm and soft things. We have something that's warm and soft. We have some blood-red moss clumps. So they will only accept one at a time. Don't drop a whole stack of 4, otherwise you'll just lose them. Or a whole stack, I guess, in general. Only drop one at a time. And then once you've dropped the item, quit the game out, and then load back in.
You, give me warm, give me soft.
That's what they were supposed to say when we approached the nest the first time. But in exchange for that blood red moss clump, we get some twinkling titanite. So we also want to give one of our precious sunlight metals.
You, give me warm, give me soft.
We get a white titanite chunk for that one. I don't think we've seen colored titanite yet. Let's see, we want to give them a cracked red eye orb. So, technically speaking, this character that we are interacting with does not have an official name. The community knows this character as Snuggly the Crow. Purging Stone, that's important. We'll want that before going into our next major area. Let's see, next is a purple moss clump, I believe.
Give me.
More twinkling titanite, thank you. Let's see, we also want to give the egg vermifuge.
Give me.
For a dragon scale, that's nice and rare. Let's see, a dung pie.
Give.
Demon titanite, that's important. We're definitely going to need a lot of those. Let's see. Next is humanity, so I actually have to remove that from my quick items. Drop one humanity. Now you'll notice from that, she actually dropped a ring. A ring of sacrifice. Thank you kindly. And we can also give her a twin humanity. Now I actually do want to discuss Snuggly the Crow's character. I mentioned in the first episode that Dark Souls is a spiritual successor to Demon Souls. In Demon Souls, there is an NPC very similar to Snuggly, that is an invisible bird NPC in a nest in a remote area that asks you for stuff. Instead of warm and soft things, the crow in that game asked for sparkly, twinkly things. That bird was known as Sparkly the Crow. And Snuggly here has gotten her name the same way Sparkly did, because warm and soft things are described as Snuggly. Titanite chunk for the rubbish, which is pretty good. Now, I think we've given her everything we can give her for now. I was kind of hoping one of those foliage demons would drop a blooming purple moss clump, because that way I would have been able to give it to her to get a little bit more twinkling titanite, but there's a fairly, I'd say a moderately sized list of items that you can trade to Snuggly, and you'll get stuff in return. So when I actually get those items and it's convenient, I'll come back and finish the trades with her. Something to note, however, when you are doing deals with Snuggly is, this is more important for later, you can only trade or do specific trades once per new game cycle. So, like, I can't just convert Moss into Twinkling Titanite. She'll only accept that trade the once. So, we got those while we're here. I want to equip the Baldur's Shield now, because I think we're past all the Torchbearers. Okay, so something to note, there is a very big trap in here, now that you're coming back. Do not walk into the center of this room. Stick around the sides. Alright, now there is a very specific item I want to come here to get. Now, in order to get this item with some amount of smoothness, I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of jiggery-pokery here. Let's see, what's our weakest weapon? That would be 114.30, that's 144. That's 174. That's 99. That's 195. So probably the Partisan. Now I'm not actually going to use this to fight with. I'm going to use this because it's a weak weapon, because there's a couple of Black Knights in here, and I don't want to kill them right now. I want them to get out of my way, but I don't want to kill them. So I want to use a weaker weapon to allow the riposte to kind of stun them for a second. Yeah, it'll take a bunch of riposte to actually kill this guy. Okay, run past him while he's getting up. Notice there's a guy there. We're gonna run past him. Down here. Oh, the door's open. Alright, so now that we've done that, and we've run past those guys. So, I don't know why it didn't do it this time, but usually when you come back here, that door there, that little shortcut door, is usually closed. I guess it wasn't this time for whatever reason. Okay. So, we want to be a little sneaky because we don't want to fight that guy that freed us from our cell. We don't want to fight him yet. We'll want to fight him when we come back later, but not right now. Okay, good. He didn't hear us dodging that trap. So, let's see. Now, the main things that have changed around here, aside from some slightly new loot and some new enemies appearing, is existing enemies have been replaced with stronger variants. You'll see they're giving more souls, they do more damage. Poor Oscar, the guy who saved us, he's now aggressive because he has unfortunately gone hollow. Okay, now, I do believe I actually picked up the key that we need to open this door. Yep, the Undead Asylum Floor 2 West Key. You find that in Firelink Shrine if you climb to the top of the tower where the nest is, and you roll off onto the roof of the building where Petrus is hanging out. There's a corpse up there on that roof that has that key. And this is the corpse we came here for. The Rusted Iron Ring. I want to change order. Let's see. I'll go with Wolf and Rusted Iron. That looks pretty good. So let's actually look at these rings we picked up. I should have looked at the Wolf Ring before. One of the special rings granted to the four Knights of Gwyn, the Wolf Ring belongs to Artorius the Abyss Walker. Artorius had an unbendable will of steel and was unmatched with a greatsword. Specifically, what the Wolf Ring does if you equip it is it raises your poise by 40, which is actually pretty good. Like, a lot of the lighter armor sets that give poise don't give that much. And then the Rusted Iron Ring. This iron ring was used to shackle the guilty. It is terribly rusted and faintly stained with blood. Those who find this strange ring to their liking will be pleased to find it easier to gain footing on poor ground such as swamps. So, I can actually show you the immediate effect of that ring right here in the asylum. If we head down here, you may remember this little place. Oh, I think Oscar heard us. But you see how we're moving kind of sluggishly in this deep water here because it's like up to our knees? If we equip the Rusted Iron Ring, we are no longer encumbered by deep water. So that's going to be helpful in a few locations. That's going to be helpful in Darkroot Basin. And most importantly, that's going to be helpful in Blighttown. Okay, I'm going to quit and reload just to de-aggro Oscar, because I don't need him chasing me right now. We'll be back for him later. I could kill him right now if I wanted to, but there's no real reason for me to do that right now, so I'm not gonna. He drops a very good shield, but I will want that shield when I come back here to actually clear this place out, which unfortunately won't be for a bit. There is a ring I want to grab first. And unfortunately, said ring we won't be getting until we are more approaching around the halfway point. Okay. Dragon Crest Shield. I gotta deal with these idiots on the way out. There we go! Popped him right in the head. Okay, this guy's also a little lower down, so I think I may need to aim a little up to compensate. I think he's a bit too far away. There we go. That's more like it. Now, when you're standing in the middle of the floor, you don't want to go any further than this. Despite the fact that enemies are clearly walking over that space, if we walk over that, there's a pitfall trap there that's going to deal a lot of damage. Head shot. Okay, good. This guy shouldn't hear us. So we can just sneak up on him like so, and booyah! Die. Alright, that's that. Alright. We probably won't be coming back here for a little bit, because we got the Rusted Iron Ring. But the Rusted Iron Ring will allow us to take care of our business in the basin, and it will also allow us to do a little bit of sequence breaking back in Blighttown. We don't necessarily need to do the sequence break in Blighttown right now, but for the sake of showing off content, I actually do want to do it. Because technically speaking, we can go to the catacombs right now because we have the Divine Ember. We need to find a blacksmith that can use it, which we do have access to at the moment, but we don't have the materials needed to make a divine weapon. We get those in Blighttown. There is technically an area before Blighttown that you can get to, where you can find green Titanite shards, which is what you need to make divine weapons. But by the time you actually get there, some sequence triggers will have been tripped, and you will miss an opportunity to have a character interaction that you otherwise would not be able to have. So, let's see. Let's head back to the basin then. I would really like a blooming clump. Right, I do want to go a little bit further forward just to kill this one, because this one will attempt to follow you into the basin. Yeah, I'm about to say, down you go. You can see that crystal lizard. I'm going to let that one go, because not really going to be killing crystal lizards right now. Oh, I forgot to mention. I very briefly touched on crystal lizards, but I didn't really go into their mechanics. I did mention that they have some rare drops and that they can run away. The thing is about them, though, if they do manage to escape, which I'll actually let this guy run away. You see how he's kind of doing like a little floppy dance, and then he just vanishes? If that happens, dying, reloading the area by leaving and coming back, I think specifically you need to go an area or two away in order for that to work. It's easiest to see in Blighttown, but dying, reloading the area, or quitting the game and opening it back up will respawn the crystal lizard if it gets away. So don't worry about it escaping. You have an unlimited number of tries to get the crystal lizard. Let's see. I want the Gargoyles halberd for these guys. The damage isn't that much weaker than the Drake sword, but it has better reach. Okay, so I want to use... Whoa! Careful. I want to use the Gargoyles halberd to kind of plink away at these guys from a safe position. Whoa! That wasn't safe. Okay. So you notice we just got hydro pumped? I guess that would be the most apropos way to describe what just hit us. There is an enemy behind where we are that is constantly shooting those water blasts. Now, the upside to those water blasts is that they are indiscriminate. They will kill the golems too. But I mainly want to kill the golems because otherwise they're going to get in the way. Now, the only attack of theirs that can actually hit us from this vantage point is that ground smash of theirs, where they let out all of those crystal shockwaves. Ooh, he dropped something. Okay. There's another crystal golem over there. Gonna go ahead and top up just in case, because I don't want to get killed by a water blast. I'm not exactly flush with humanity right now. One more crystal golem over there. Nope. I thought he was too far away, but nope, he's not. He is just in range. Now this one will actually probably come straight towards us and should be able to walk up this little ramp here. Which, since it's just him, I'm actually fine with that. Or he's going to be stupid and attempt to go over here. Okay. Uh-oh. Ooh. Blue Titanite chunk. Okay. Weapons. I'm going to need the Drake Sword, the Baldur Shield, I'm going to need the bow, and for this one, I'm going to need the Rusted Iron Ring. Because the thing that was shooting water at us is in the middle of a huge lake. So we want to dash ahead. Ooh, okay. This is the Hydra. Now, normally, this thing's a pain to fight, because where we are currently standing is considered deep water. Ooh, careful, careful, careful. Ooh, okay. Yeah, you want to be very careful with the Hydra, because from a distance, it's really dangerous. You saw how much damage one of those water blasts did. And for every head that it has, it'll fire one. And when you're up close like this, it'll just do, you know, melee bite attacks. And much like the Hydra of Legend, they have multiple heads. Thankfully, these ones don't grow back. I mean, I suppose if you die to it, it'll grow back, but... the Hydra actually has two ways of killing it. Ooh, nice. You can either cut off all the heads, which, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 heads. You can either cut off all the heads, and regardless of how much HP it has left, if all the heads are gone, it just dies. Or you can just bottom its HP out. Uh-oh. Ooh. Now, what I like to do is to prevent collision shenanigans, is I like to cut off all but 1 or 2 of the heads. There we go. Because you'll notice when it does the melee attack, it moves in the same pattern more or less every time. So it's pretty easy to track the heads down and just cut them off. But, as you also notice, some of the heads don't stick into the ground. So I want to kill the heads that do. Because I've actually had this happen where I've been chasing down a head, I get a little bit too close to it, I get snagged on its collision or something, and it drags me back into the deep water where the main body is, which, as far as the game is concerned, the water where that thing is considered a bottomless pit. So We die instantly if we get dragged out there. Okay, yeah, the heads are starting to hide in the wall, so I need you to come over this way some. Okay. 2 more heads. There we go. Okay, so now... Yeah, he's just gonna pointlessly do this over and over again, and I can just completely stand still and he will never hit me, because he never adjusts his little pattern. He gets close, as you can see, but he's not gonna be adjusting enough to where he'll actually be able to hit me. So now, we want to use the bow. And then just aim for his head. Now, the reason we want to aim for the head and not the main body, aside from just, you know, making it easier to kill by hitting the head is actually closer. Because projectiles in this game actually do follow the rules of damage fall-off. The further away an enemy is from you when you fire, the less damage they'll take. And if they're too far away, even if you hit them, they won't just take any damage at all. But they have to be really far away for that to happen. So... for the Hydra, I aim for the head because the head has less damage fall-off applied to it. Now, it's easier to see in this game than it is in Remastered, but if you look down at the water, you can actually see where there's that sudden drop-off that goes into the pit. So, as long as you stay away from that, you'll be fine. So, now that the Hydra's dead, we got the Dusk Crown Ring and a Dragon Scale. Let's take a look at that ring. This magic crown-shaped ring was granted to Princess Dusk of Ulasil upon her birth. The ring stone allows its wearer to cast additional sorceries, but at the cost of 1/2 HP. So keep that name in mind, Dusk of Ulasil. That's an NPC we haven't met yet, and that's not just like a lore character. That is a character we will actually encounter. But now that the Hydra is dead, that is step 1 in a hidden side quest. Step 2 is to come back here and reload the area. Quickest way to do that is to just quit the game and reload it. And now there's a new enemy back here. We fought the blue crystal golems on the way to the Hydra, which, by the way, the Hydra is a unique enemy. Once you kill it, it won't come back. We now have a gold crystal golem. Be very careful. This guy hits like a truck. He will probably 1, if not 2-shot me. So... Oof. Okay, we poise broke him. I'm noticing our sound effects seem a bit dull. I wonder if that's a bug. Or it may just be a thing with this guy, I don't know. Okay. And lo and behold, we have a new NPC. Hello, ma'am.
So, 'tis thou who rescued me. Most gracious, I am deeply obliged. I am Dusk of Ulasil. I cometh from an age long before thine. I cannot stay here for long. So, before I disappear, allow me to ask one thing. My home, Ulasil, is the home of ancient sorceries. My hope is to pass this profound knowledge to thee, with thine approval. Would this be of assistance to thee?
Yes, very much so.
My heartfelt thanks. I am pleased beyond words. Then I shout, engrave my signature. If thou art in need, pray summon me from my signature. It seems that my time is done. May the great flames guide thee.
Goodbye. But yeah, that was Princess Dusk of Ulasil. Now, she's a bit unique. She's a merchant. You can actually buy some really good stuff from her. And she's actually so hidden that when I played the game, like, early on, one of my friends who introduced me to it actually accused me of cheating because I had some of the things that she can sell that made a lot of things easier, and he didn't know about it, so he just accused me of cheating. And I'm like, no, it's an NPC, she's right over here. But yeah, provided that you have cleared the area out, and when you save Dusk, her summon sign appears here next to this rock. Now, she's not like a summonable ally like Lautrec or Solaire. When you summon her, she acts like a standard friendly NPC.
I am Dusk of Ulasil. It is an honor to see thee again. I shall follow thy wishes.
Now, if you ever want to talk to her, you want to make sure you kill all the crystal golems in the area because they can kill her. And if she dies too soon, you lose a lot of content. So be very careful when talking to her if there's still enemies around. Right, so we'll learn proper bow, upgrade our bow gesture. So, Dusk, tell me about yourself.
For a very long time, I was trapped within the crystal golem. From my home I was taken and banished to a plane of distortion. It was there that thou came to my rescue, long after I had relinquished all hope. So gleeful was I. My faith reneweth. The sorceries of Ulasil differ from the magic of thine age. It is difficult to explain. Ulasil's sorceries are, what doth one say? They're somewhat of an approximation. Thine sorceries are more straightforward, negating all but thyself. Dost thou not find some fascination in these discrepancies? The sorceries, it is thine, does that...
Okay, so she actually does have some stuff we want. She mainly sells magic, but we do actually want to pick up some spells from her. Specifically, we want 2 spells. If I was playing Remastered, I would actually pick up 3. The spells I want from her, I want Hidden Body, Cast Light, and if I was playing Remastered, I would also pick up Chameleon. So let's go with Hidden Body, Cast Light, and we also want to pick up an Ulasil Ivory Catalyst.
If thou art in need, pray summon me again. I only wish to be of some genuine assistance.
Oh,
May the
Dusk.
flames guide thee.
Dusk, you are assisting me far more than you realize by selling me what you just did. Okay. So let's head back to Andre's bonfire. Because the easiest way to get to Blighttown would be to go through the Valley of the Drakes from the Firelink Shrine side. And I'm probably going to make this another short episode because I want to show another farming spot I'm going to be heading up. Not necessarily to actually farm souls there, but I actually want to farm some items, specifically forge materials. And without a specific ring, it might take a little longer, but thankfully I don't need too much from there. I only really need, if my math is right, I only need 2 drops to proc. And I should have the materials I need. I can get away with 1. But if I can get 2, that would be really handy. Oh yeah, because we reloaded the area, the crystal wizard's back, but that's not a huge deal. So, Dusk of Ulasil, we bought a catalyst from her, and we also bought some sorceries. I'll go over those when I get to a bonfire. no point in really equipping the catalyst right now because I haven't attuned any spells. So, no reason to have a wand equipped if you don't have any spells to cast. And she is who can be your first sorcery teacher. She's not intended to be your first sorcery teacher, but she can be. She can be as late as your 4th sorcery teacher, I think? Depending on when you actually free her. Oh, I was actually just looking at my my heads-up display there for a second. I actually forgot to mention something about the Drake Sword. You may notice that shield icon with a green arrow under my HUD. Equipping the Drake Sword gives you, I believe, let me see. I believe that gives you passive fire defense. Let's see. 125, 146, 139. Yeah, 140, 161. So you get magic defense and fire defense while you have the Drake Sword actually equipped. Similarly, let's see. Gargoyles Halberd. Halberd of the Gargoyle guarding the Bell of Awakening in the Undead Church. Perfectly standard bronze halberd without any special power. That is a lie. Because when you equip the Gargoyles Halberd, you may notice all of our status resistances updating. Your poison, bleed, and toxic resistance go up when you equip the Gargoyles Halberd. So some weapons actually do have useful passive effects like that. Okay. Let's update our inventory a little bit, since we are carrying a lot of crap we don't need. Let's see. Titanite's fine. Weapons. Force club, large club. We don't need the partisan anymore. Partisan's done its job. Keep the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst. Keep the shields. Let's see. We don't need the Knight or Elite Knight sets. Now, the Elite Knight set is noteworthy because that's the set that Oscar wears. Helm of a Nameless Knight, perhaps an Elite Knight of Astora. Although he was loath to give up on his undead mission, he perished at the Undead Asylum and went hollow. And you can see it's the same basic description, but yeah, that fits Oscar to a T. Right, oops, I forgot to attune my magic. So we actually have some spell slots here, so I want to go ahead and equip Hidden Body, and might as well equip Cast Light, not like I'm going to be doing anything else with that right now. I probably won't be using Cast Light, but I'll keep it attuned just because. And then we have Hidden Body. Let's go ahead and equip our Ulasil Ivory Catalyst, now that we have our first catalyst here. Sorcery Catalyst of Lost Land of Ulasil, formed by enchanted white bark branches. The white bark boosts sorcery adjustment, but the sorceries of this lost land are gentle and not affected by intelligence. So, how spellcasting mediums work is a bit interesting. Their primary stat is magic adjustment, which ordinarily, magic adjustment is determined by either your int for catalysts or faith for talismans, which you use to cast miracles with. The Pyromancy Flame, which you get if you are playing as a Pyromancer, does not scale with any stat. The magic adjust is buffed a different way. But both catalysts and talismans actually have a basic sort of casting medium that has a static magic adjust. For sorceries, that is the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst. No matter how high your intelligence gets, you will always have a magic adjust of 180 with the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst, which makes it, I believe, the best catalyst to use for casting spells from intelligence level 10 through 24, I think, because you need a minimum of, I think, 10 intelligence to cast any spells at all. Since I only need 15 intelligence to get all the spells that I care about, this will be the best the best catalyst for me to use. An extra bonus for the Ulasil Ivory Catalyst is that it's also the lightest weight catalyst. It only weighs half a unit. So keeping this on for support spells, it's basically a non-issue. Probably should put Humanities back on my hotbar. Now let's look at those spells we picked up. Hidden Body. Ancient sorcery of the lost land of Ulasil. Turns body nearly invisible. Although perfect invisibility is unachievable due to the risk of dissipation, the caster need only stand still for a moment to blend into environs with astounding camouflage. Cast Light. Ancient sorcery of the lost land of Ulasil. Casts a bright light upon surroundings. This light-producing sorcery is elementary, but nonetheless demonstrates the achievements and mysticism of Ulasil. Such magic has not been developed even in Vinheim. So the main one we wanted from that is Hidden Body, and what this does is it lets us turn transparent. Effectively, in gameplay, what this accomplishes is it reduces the aggro range of enemies by, I believe, 75%. Now, granted, this is only visual aggro. Enemies can still hear you. So, like, for example, this guy up here. You see, I'm, like, transparent now. Normally, this guy here with the crossbow starts shooting me as I'm walking up the stairs. And this guy would come charging at me. But because I'm invisible, more or less, it takes them a minute to recognize that I'm there. And this helps out in a lot of circumstances. The spell itself doesn't last long, only about 30 seconds, but you can definitely get some accomplishments made in that very short time frame. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to make a trip back to Blighttown. Specifically, I want to head back to the area where we found the Chloranthy Ring, the Great Hollow, the bonfire there. There's a bunch of enemies nearby there that have a fairly decent frequency of dropping green titanite shards. Okay, I don't think anybody has anything new to say, but I'll check anyway.
Have you been to the ruins of New Londo below? Just head down the stairs and take the lift. It's certainly worth a visit. It was once an undead city. You may find a clue or two, unless the ghosts find you first. Oh, have you seen that terribly morose lass? The Firekeeper. She's stuck keeping that bonfire lit. Sad, really. She's mute and bound to this forsaken place. They probably cut her tongue out back in her village, so that she'd never say any god's name in vain. How do these martyrs keep chugging along? I'd peter out in an instant.
Alright. We have been to New Londo for a brief moment anyway. Maltrek? Nope. Okay. And then Anastasia, of course, cannot say anything because she's mute, but... Alright, let's head back to Blighttown then. Now, hopefully I won't be down here for too long. Because, like I said, the items we want are green titanite shards. The enemies down here drop them that I want to be fighting, that drop them at least, drop them fairly frequently, and they also drop them in bulk. So if I can get... I would like at least one drop to happen, because I think one drop can at least get me to... I want to say a +2 weapon, but if I can get 2 drops, that might be able to get me to +5. We'll have to see. Actually thinking about it... No, I think I'd need 3 drops. Okay, so let's get the spider shield back out. For those of you curious, this is where I farmed the large club, because these ogres here will drop it. Ah, but you see, now that I have a bow, I don't have to do the rolling into the barricade method anymore. Or I could just, you know, miss. That is much better. Now, I think because the Drake Sword doesn't have any scaling, two-handing it actually doesn't increase the damage at all, because how that works is two-handing gives you a, like, invisible strength bonus. So, since we don't have any scaling on this weapon, two-handing it wouldn't really affect anything. Okay, still good. Yeah, I'm gonna need this again because, yeah, toxic projectiles everywhere. So, like I said, hopefully I won't be down here too long. If I wanted to, I actually could sequence break to the next bell right now. It's just a quick jaunt across the swamp, but... You know what? Yeah, I can kill you in 3 hits, so that's not a problem. Can I not hit these guys? No, I can't. They're kind of like glitching through the floor. But they can't hit me either, so... So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to... Ah! Got shot. That's okay. What I will probably end up doing is I'll probably level up when I get to the Great Hollow. Because I highly doubt that 30,000 will be enough to get me a massive amount of souls, or a massive amount of levels, but I at least do want to have a few left over for making some weapon upgrades. So now that we're back down here, we want to equip the Rusted Iron Ring. Because if y'all recall from before, we kind of moved pretty slow running through this swamp. When we were here before, but since we have the Rusted Iron Ring, we can now do this. Oh, I forgot about you. Okay, let me take care of this then. So this isn't a person, this is an NPC. A very weak NPC, I might add. She's just some naked woman wearing a sack that lives in the swamp, apparently. So, yeah, she's just kind of here. I completely forgot about you. Oh well. Alright, we killed her, got a humanity for our trouble. 3 humanity and a butcher knife. I believe that is the only way to get the butcher knife if you're actually interested in doing that. Alright, let's see. Spider shield. That just means I'll have to do more inventory organization. Okay. Let's see. Butcher knife, butcher knife. Funnily enough, despite the fact that it's being clearly called a butcher knife, I believe the game actually classes it as an axe. So, let's see. So, ivory catalyst, revolver shield. Okay. I think we're good. Oh yeah, let's put away, let's organize our rings a little bit. Change order, organize There's these. I want to keep the Rings of Sacrifice kind of down below. Oh yeah, I never told you guys about the rare Ring of Sacrifice that we have down here. Hold on, I'm going to have to do a lot of inventory organization here. Okay, so I think we already read this one. The rare Ring of Sacrifice, however. This mystical ring was created in a sacrificial rite of Velka, the goddess of sin. The magenta-shaded ring is especially rare. Its wearer will lose nothing upon death and will be freed from any curse whatsoever, but the ring itself breaks. So, the Ring of Sacrifice will protect you from the consequences of death. However, if you get insta-killed from the curse status effect, I believe you will still be protected as far as your souls and humanity are concerned, but you will still suffer the effects of the curse. The rare Ring of Sacrifice, however, if you die to a curse while it is equipped, it will protect you from the curse while also protecting you from the other effects of death. So there is one particular instance where we do want to make sure we have a rare Ring of Sacrifice on us, but it's not going to be for a very long time, so we'll probably just keep that in the box for now. So we'll keep one Ring of Sacrifice. We don't need the Dust Crown Ring. As half HP bad. Let's see, Rusted Iron Ring. So yeah, we should be able to just run through the swamp. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, we're gonna get poisoned, but that's okay. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to fight these leeches. I'll be fighting these en masse later, but for the sake of the Let's Play... Ow! Leeches. For the sake of the Let's Play, I actually want to sequence break and kill these guys a little bit early for a green Titanite shard drop. Because I want to make a... Whoa! I did not think that the guy would come all the way over here. Mosquitoes, huh? Oof. Yeah, good thing we were already poisoned. You are not running away from me. But yeah, those leeches can drop, they can drop green Titanite shards in lots of 5, or they can drop individual, regular large Titanite shards. So, there's like a whole bunch of them back here. So, I'll see if I can get lucky. Now, we're not running on maximal drop chance here, so... And the only reason I'm doing this is because there's an event we can miss if we advance too quickly, which I don't think you can do under normal circumstances, or at least not in any efficient fashion, unless you are either playing New Game Plus or you have the Master Key. Which, by the time you can get the Master Key in a normal playthrough, if you didn't start with it, it'll already be too late and you would have missed it. So, it's something really minor, but it's worth showing because it introduces us to a character. And again, most people will only ever get this in New Game Plus. Nothing. You can see these guys drop 100 souls a pop too, so not bad for souls if you need them. I do believe that projectile attack of theirs can poison. Alright, large Titanite, we'll hang on to that for later. Yeah, my low vitality is really starting to bite me in the butt now. And of course, when I don't want large Titanite, that's when they decide they want to drop it a bunch. Come on. I usually have the opposite problem. I'm usually swimming in green Titanite, and they never want to drop the regular large Titanite. Not tonight, apparently. Wow, okay, 4 in a row. I'm noticing this is a very drops are not going to be in your favor kind of playthrough. Wow, not a single green Titanite shard drop. That's actually very disappointing. As you can see, there's definitely a large amount of them around. So, and it's not like it's a super rare drop either. It's the more common of their drops usually. I guess I'm just being unlucky tonight. I didn't even know you could land on this. Huh. Learn something new every playthrough, huh? I think I'll do one more run on camera to see if I can get a drop, and if I don't, I'll probably call it a stream here and farm the shards off screen. Oh, come on. Well, I'm already poisoned. Might as well stay in the swamp, yeah? That jump attack of theirs, man. There we go. 5 green Titanite shards. Can you tell I've run this quite a few times? I mean, in previous playthroughs, of course. course, that one drop's probably going to be all I'm going to get. I'm going to stay at a lethal damage range if I can. Those large shards will come in handy later, but not right now. Freaking leeches. Yeah, they're also kind of hard to hit with a straight sword. Oh, nope, they got me. Ugh. How long has it been since I've died to these things? Wow. First playthrough, I think. Yeah, usually they're not that much of a threat, but granted, I'm also fighting them way earlier than you're supposed to. Alright, so we're gonna need a Ring of Sacrifice here. Gotta go get my stuff back. Yeah, not been the best playthrough so far. Been dying a lot more often than I usually do. Just stupid stuff, no less. Like, getting squashed by Havel, or Hobble multiple times, sliding off into a bottomless pit after a tree dude, getting killed by these things. Like, I don't know. I feel like getting killed by the leeches is more than a little bit embarrassing. Just because of how weak they are. These guys are literally fodder enemies. Like, these are here to farm crafting materials. That is their whole purpose for existing. There we go. Oh! Huh. I guess they must be weak to thrust damage or something, because the Gargoyle Halberd does thrust damage. So, Or, you know what it could be? It could be sweet spot damage, because the Gargoyle's Halberd has that. You may have noticed when I was fighting the Crystal Golems, sometimes when I hit them, I would do a little bit of extra damage. No, because I hit him with the half that time, and that still ended up doing more damage. But, the Halberd is one of the weapons that has a sweet spot on it, because, naturally, it has that huge axe head. If you actually hit enemies with the axe head instead of just, like, the haft... Target the right way. There we go. Yeah, if you actually hit enemies with the axe head instead of just, like, the haft or part of the pole, you'll do more damage. Freaking leech. There we go. Come on. And just one thing of green titanite. Alright. Ooh, double kill. And again, man, give me the stuff I usually want when I don't want it. Just, oof, that's annoying. Which is funny, because usually the green titanite is the trash item that I don't want, but here you go. there's one more leech that I know of, and if that one doesn't drop it, I'll just make do with the 5 that I've got. That should at least be able to get me to a +2 divine weapon. So that should be at least feasible for where we'd be going. Nope, nada. Alright, let's head back. I should check something. Let's see. That is 195. Yeah, okay, we'll go with the Drake Sword. Alright. Since I forgot to do so earlier, let's go ahead and level up now. Let's see. So I've got Nameless Soldier and Proud Knight Souls. Let's see, I believe we had 36,000 souls when we came down here, so from that would be 39,000, so yeah, about roughly 39,000 souls to play with as far as leveling up goes. So let's see. So 39,000, that would leave us with 11,000. So let's upgrade Endurance, and then get Vitality to 16, and then I want to focus on Strength again. I want to get Strength Index to 24. And then, okay, I can get to there without spending too many. So, okay, that'll do for now. So, not a bad upgrade. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to head back to Andre, but we're at almost 3 hours, so I think this will be a good place to stop. So, I will actually be doing some traveling off screen. I'll travel back to Andre and probably start the next stream there. And I might go farm some more leeches off screen since we're ending here anyway, just to go ahead and get it done and out of the way. So yeah, next time I'll meet y'all at Andre. We'll do some more weapon upgrading, and I'll show you some other areas that we can go to, sort of like little side areas before we go to where we're actually supposed to. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I will see y'all. I might see y'all tomorrow, I don't know. I've got the day off, I might do something, but regardless, hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all later. Have a good night, everybody, and sleep well.